if somebody says, I know I'm on death row, but no, I'm sticking to my story about what happened to Zeb, you can probably trust what they're saying.
Well, the other hard part, though, this is my concern with this offer of a bargain, is he may just fess up just to get off a death row.
That's true, too.
They usually require proof, like, hey, tell us where you buried the body then.
Right, you got to be able to prove something, but I always am hesitant with those things, because that's what I would do if I got convicted and went to death row. Not that I'm going to do something, I swear you to.
Yeah, right.
Don't, here, have those drinks. But if I was going to do something and I did go to death row and they said, oh, hey, Steve, we think you did this other thing, and if you admit to it, we'll totally give you life. Oh, yeah, I totally did it. Absolutely.
Well,
I did it. I killed the Snuffleupagus. I totally did it.
Sure, but again, they'll probably demand to know where he disposed of the body and stuff like that, so.
Oh, yeah.
I shredded him and I recycled him.
Yeah.
He's made of nothing but felt. That's totally recyclable.
Well, he certainly went a long ways towards disposing of those other bodies.
Yeah,
back
so
in March,
I don't know.
He might have,
That's kind of my feeling, is that all I can do is hope, honestly, hope that Owens did it and that he confesses and that's what happened, because I need to know. Or we can get at least one step closer.
I
want to know
what is going on.
Yeah,
I think that I'm more than 50-50 sure that this is going to be solved. Not too long in the future.
I hope that's true.
I think so.
Steve,
I think we'll find out.
Feeling the same way?
Yeah. Well, there's so many damn questions.
Yeah, there really are.
I don't know what I feel.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think it's not necessarily true that Owens even murdered him deliberately. It could have been a fight and an accidental death. It could have been.
Yeah.
And that happens to the best of us. And you just hide the body and get on with your life, right? So
that's normal.
Yeah.
Totally normal.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you want to see some of our research that we did for this episode, you can find that as well as stream or download our episodes on our website. That website is, of course, thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. You can also leave a comment there. You can get merch on the website. There's a cool little merch icon. It's right above the donate button on the right-hand side.
Yep.
Is this the right-hand side?
Yeah, that's right.
The right-hand side of the page.
Devin is flailing with the right hand.
This side.
It really is that side.
Whatever the side is. You probably listening to us on iTunes, though. If you are, go ahead and leave us a comment and a rating. You're probably already subscribed. If you're not, you should do that. You can find us on Facebook if you want to connect with us. There's the page and the group. You can just search Thinking Sideways Podcast. They'll both pop up.
If they don't, send us a message.
Yeah.
We had somebody this last week.
They were lost.
Yeah, well, it actually sending us search results weren't getting it, so we had to help them out. But we'll totally help you out.
We will. We're accessible people. You can find us on Twitter, Thinkin' Sideways. There's been some interesting activity on that recently. Also, just send us an email if you want to talk about this or any other cases. You have suggestions. If you're an expert in something, send us an email.
Or if you just want to tell me that I'm awesome.
Or me.
What?
All right.
Okay.
Don't worry about Steve.
Yeah, don't worry about Steve. That email address is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com.
Sorry, I was on Twitter.
Yeah, still on Twitter.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm texting.
That having been said, we're going to get out of here.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Ta-ta.
See you next week.
Hey guys, Steve here. You are listening to one of our original 26 episodes. If you've listened to any of our new episodes, you're going to notice that we're sounding a little different in these ones.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
There is.
They've been remastered.
They have been remastered.
Because they had a really annoying hum.
Yeah, I mean, a huge thanks to listener James for doing almost all of the legwork on this thing.
Yeah.
You'll also notice if you had listened to what we're calling the Lost 26 episodes before, and you're re-listening now, the music and sound effects are gone.
Yes, we've gone back to straight audio. So be warned, we sound a little different today than we do in what you're about to listen to.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thinking Sideways.
I don't understand.
Does not compute.
You never know.
Insufficient data to formulate a reply.
What?
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Well, hello, and welcome to Thinking Sideways, the podcast. I'm Steve.
Devin.
Joe.
And we have another unusual story for you this week.
We do.
We do.
Ooh.
So let's just go. This does not fall in line with any of the stories that we've talked about before.
Okay.
I've kind of diverged a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
Just bear with me through this.
Dude, we have a format for a reason, you know?
We have an approval process for a reason here.
Yeah. Our story starts in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland, on the Overton House estate. It's a Victorian house, was built in 1862. It's a large stone mansion, sits on a palatial 2,000-acre estate. But the house is not actually the subject of our story.
Oh.
I know. Near the house is the Overton Bridge, which was built in 1895 and spans the Overton Burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Burn is Scottish for stream. Everything was going along perfectly fine, no strange activity whatsoever until the 1950s. Since the 1950s, over 50 dogs have apparently committed suicide by jumping from the bridge and falling nearly 50 feet to their deaths on the rocks below.
So that's one a year?
That's one a year that have jumped and died.
More have jumped and not died. Although
Another 600 dogs have been reported as jumping off of this bridge, or trying to jump, and either they made it and they survived the fall, some hit the bushes that are below, some aren't that lucky, or their owners were able to stop them from actually jump.
Why do people keep bringing their dogs to this bridge? That's what I want to know.
That's a very good question. It's not until recently that people have figured out that it's an on-leash area.
Clearly an on-leash area.
You know what? Actually, it would be hilarious if the dogs would just like leap over and take their owners with them.
Yeah, well, that's not the way it went. Those dogs that survived the fall, when they were brought back to the bridge, they happily tried to jump again.
Huh.
All of the dogs that have jumped off of this bridge, there's some things that are consistencies in every situation.
Okay.
Every one of the dogs that has jumped has been what's referred to as a long-nosed breed. So that's a Labrador, a Collie, Retriever, that type of dog.
Sure.
All of them have jumped from the same spot.
Exact same spot?
The spot is located between the last two parapets.
Okay.
On the right-hand side of the bridge. And every time a dog has jumped, it's also been on a clear, sunny day. So as you pointed out, Devin, there is one a year dying. Mm-hmm. They're jumping at a rate of one dog per month.
Wow.
So what's the cause? It's an unknown phenomena. There's got to be something going on. And, of course, theories abound.
Right.
And we have a number of theories. As always, some that sound plausible, some that are a little bit off. Let's take a look at them.
Yeah.
So in Celtic mythology, the estate is known to be a thin place, meaning that it is an area between two worlds where heaven and earth meet. And because the veil is really thin there, the animals can sense it, or the dogs can sense it. So some believe that because they can sense the bridge between, no pun intended, these two worlds, they're attracted to it, and in their excitement to get to this new place that they know is there, they're jumping off the bridge. And so, unbeknownst to them, basically they're so excited, they just go for it, and then discover too late that now they're falling.
Huh.
Other reports say the Overton house is haunted. And that maybe the spirits of the dogs who have died before are luring the new dogs over.
Because that sounds like a thing.
Yeah, it does. It's plausible. It could be. We don't know.
Plausible.
Ghost doggy, huh?
Yeah.
That'd be so weird to get haunted by a dog.
Real little odd.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know. Just little ghostly piles of poo appear.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs are pretty friendly, right? So, like, that's the thing is you think, Okay, but if a dog came back, why would that be the thing that they do? Like, hey, you know what's going to be fun is killing a bunch of other dogs.
Well, maybe they're just having fun and playing. Hey, come follow me, not realizing that the other dog isn't a spirit as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
perhaps,
air quotes there.
Yeah.
Or perhaps they think they're doing them a favor because doggy heaven is so awesome. Or it could be the reverse. It could be that they're demon doggies.
Ooh.
And they're just doing evil.
So they're the dogs from Ghostbusters, basically?
Yeah, evil dogs.
You remember those?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, those were demon doggies.
Yeah, they were.
I've never heard them referred to as demon doggies, but I'm going to run with it.
They are.
Demon doggies.
Yeah.
Okay. The next theory. Animal behaviorists were brought to the bridge to try and figure out what's going on. Because nobody knows why the dogs are leaping, and they wanted to see what would happen and try and make whatever observations they could to get down to the bottom of it.
So when they brought a truckload of dogs down and just observed them plummeting to their deaths?
No.
Is that how they... No.
So based on the bridge's construction, it's believed that what's going on is the dog's senses are going into overload. Here's how the construction of the bridge is set up. The walls, which they're jumping off of, are 18 inches thick. It's stone, 18 inches thick. And it's got ivy growing over the top of it in spots, which is higher, which makes it above the plane where a dog of that size can normally see.
Sure.
So they don't have an idea that there's something else there, so their sense of sight is deceived. The other thing is that, of course, it's going over a stream. There's water falling onto rocks. And if you've ever been on any kind of stone structure above a stream, the echo can make it quite loud.
Yeah.
So now they can't rely on their sense of hearing. While surveying the area, the animal behaviorists wanted to try and get down to the bottom of it, so they started checking out the area around and underneath the bridge, and they think that they say that they have found clues indicating that there's a large population of mink living in the undergrowth below the bridge. So the theory is that the dogs are on the bridge. They can't really see they can't see over the edge. They can't hear very well. But then they catch this really strong smell of mink. And I have read accounts that evidently they are extremely pungent.
I have heard they're like ferrets and all those things. And,
right.
They have a really strong odor.
Yes.
Apparently. That's why you use them for crab bait, for example.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they're really strong smelling, so the dogs can smell that. Now we'll go back to one of the facts that links every case, which is it happens on a clear, sunny day. So there's heat rising from underneath the bridge, and that air current is carrying that scent over, whereas on a cool or windy day, the dogs wouldn't notice it as much.
Yeah, and it's all dogs that are traditionally bred to be hunters. So their basic instinct is to go for to chase that, right? I mean, that's what they're bred to do, chase things like that.
Exactly.
Usually.
So yeah, they jump up on the bridge to pursue this smell, and once they're up there and they realize where they're at, their momentum unfortunately then carries them right over the brink, and it's too late.
Yeah, I could see that. The first time around I could see that, but the ones that repeat it, the second they try to do it again, it's like, dude, you know?
Yeah, well, that's what makes this so strange. It's so odd is that these dogs are happily doing it again.
Yeah.
And nobody knows why that is.
Yeah, dogs are pretty good at learning not to do things that hurt them pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
you would think so. There has been, and I say this with some hesitation, there has been a study done of the sense of the animals that they found underneath the bridge, and the droppings of. Because they found mink, they found mice, and I can't remember what the third animal was. And I watched their experiments, because they videotaped the whole thing, and they bunch of dogs in a field, and one at a time they would let them go and see which smell canister they went to. But there was nothing to indicate how accurate this was. In other words, was the mink at the same odor level as the other two containers? Anything like that. I'm almost positive that this supposed study was for one of those shows, the sensationalized shows. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it in today's episode. And you don't know how well this experiment was set up.
Sure.
And they did it with 10 dogs.
Oh, yeah. That's
10 dogs.
That's a good enough
7 out
sampling.
of 10 went for the mink.
Did they go nuts over the mink?
Well,
Enough to sort of throw their good sense aside.
They didn't go bonkers, but the ones that went for the mink did go straight towards it. They didn't even bother with the other ones. But again, we don't know. Maybe the guy had put tons and tons of mink scent in there and not a whole lot in the other two because he doesn't know because he can't smell it to the proper proportions. So it's dubious to me as to the validity of that study.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't know that one's very plausible to rely upon. The other theory that I've got here goes even farther. And it's not aliens. Before you jump in.
But aliens are my favorite theory.
I know they are, but even I can't draw a connection for aliens on this one.
Okay.
Zombies?
No.
Damn
It is depression and suicidal tendencies. Here's the way the theory is going. We all know that dogs are really tuned into our emotions and the people they're around. They tend to pick up those cues and they'll react accordingly. If somebody's sad, dog's usually sad. You're happy, the dog's happy. So this theory that is out there is that the people who are walking their dogs across the bridge are already in a depressed state of mind. And
Imagine how depressed they are after their dog throws himself to his death.
Yeah, right.
And they are looking out over this vista, and they're seeing how far down it is, and they're starting to contemplate. Maybe they don't want to go on, but they're not sure. And that is being transferred to their dogs somehow extremely well, to the point that the dog is then running and jumping over the edge.
Okay, so I could see that for like 1 or 2,
Yep.
but 600 in the course of 50 years, there's no way.
Well, and here's the other fact that to me disputes that theory and just puts it to the ground.
No.
In the entire 100+ years that bridge has been there, one person has died from falling off of the bridge.
Throwing themselves or just accidentally falling?
This is actually a really terrible story, but it was in 1994, and a local man named Kevin Moy, he was evidently severely depressed, having delusions, and he threw his 2-week-old son off of the bridge and then tried to jump himself. His state of mind was obviously not solid because he thought that he was the Antichrist and that his son was Satan. That's pretty far out there.
Yeah.
And again, if it's only one person doing it, then that means that, to me, logically, this whole depression state from my owner causes Fido to jump. And
why would it be just this bridge? Because there are plenty of places around the world where people take their dogs and contemplate suicide.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason for it to be this one bridge.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm leaning towards the mink theory. I think what they need to do is get some guys with flamethrowers down there and barbecue all the mink and make sure they don't come. Make sure they know not to come back. And then at the same time, that's going to sort of eradicate the mink smell. With the flamethrowers, and then just send a lot of dogs over the bridge and see if they jump.
Yeah. That's one way to go.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, I kind of agree with Joe in terms of the mink theory. Here's another little fact about the mink. Mink were introduced to Scotland about 100 years ago, 80 to 100 years ago, something like that. But their populations in the wild hadn't gotten that large. And it was only in the 50s that it was known that there was a large mink population just living in the wilds. Which would lend credence to...
The 50s thing.
It's in the 50s is when all this started, and there's, some massive warren of mink living underneath that bridge because it's near water and all these other things that they eat. So there is some factors there that make me lean that way. But I don't know.
Yeah, I guess as far as all of the theories go, that's the one that I find the most plausible as well. But, why a dog would do it a second, a third, a fourth time is baffling to me.
That is a little baffling.
I know some dumb dogs, but not that many dumb dogs. I mean, and, yeah.